Hello, I'm Amari Jones, and welcome to Caffeine TV, your daily video news brief, here to take you through 3 headline numbers in just 3 minutes, giving you a different take on everything from housing policy to the Real Housewives. The first number up today is 3. That's the number of people that we now know were directly involved in the Charlie Hebdo attack in Paris yesterday. 2 gunmen and the driver of the getaway car. The driver of the getaway car, Ahmed Murad, gave himself up to police last night. He reportedly is the 18-year-old brother-in-law of the 2 assassins, Saeed and Sharif Kouachi, 34 and 32 years each, 2 orphan brothers of French-Algerian descent who, according to the New York Times, were known to French authorities for their connection with terrorism. Now, they were last seen in northern France near the border with Belgium, which means that they might be trying to escape the country, which means that France remains a country with frayed nerves. We also know more about how they got into the Charlie Hebdo offices. They demanded that a Charlie Hebdo employee enter in her security code, or they threatened to assassinate her 5-year-old daughter that she had just picked up from kindergarten on the spot. And after they'd wreaked havoc, they went out on the street and shot a wounded police officer in the head, who it turns out himself was also Muslim, Ahmed Murad. Now, the point of these attacks was to divide and inflame. So far, they seem to be having the opposite of their intended effect. Tens of thousands of people in cities across France and around the world have turned out with their pens in the air as a sign of the support for the freedom of the press, and also with signs which say "Je suis Charlie," which is "I am Charlie." And so let's hope that this spirit of fraternity holds, because it looks like France might need it. Which brings us to our next number up today. That number is 2. That's the number of new victims and a new Paris shooting today. A French police officer and a street sweeper were killed when a man who, according to the BBC, appeared to be of North African descent, sprayed the street with automatic gunfire and fled the scene. There's now a nationwide manhunt for that person. And now across France, symbols of Islam are being the targets of reprisals. There were concussion grenades set off outside of a mosque in Paris, and a French-owned shop in Lyon was firebombed. Now, France is the home of the Enlightenment. The very ideals of modern democracy and freedom were birthed there, but as we all know, our ideals aren't really known to us until they're put to the test. Let's just hope that in this dark hour, France can hold on to the best of its past. The last number up to is 3. That's the number of times, according to the New York Times, that activity at New York City's courts have fallen. That's because the New York City Police Department is on a virtual strike because they believe that the city's mayor, Bill de Blasio, is anti-police. As a matter of fact, according to the New York Times, the number of arrests recently has fallen by as much as 10 times when compared to the same time last year. And what's interesting is that the mayor and the police commissioner have come out recently to say that despite this virtual strike, that crime in the city has fallen to a near 60-year low. Now, that all raises the question of what all those arrests were about before. They were mostly broken windows, quality of life crimes like riding your bicycle on the street or putting your feet on the subway, which makes the point of protesters that quality of life arrests are mostly about harassment and not about actually dealing with real crime. But if the New York City Police Department keeps this up with falling crime and falling arrests, New York City taxpayers may ask themselves why they're paying for the largest police force in the world.